Hey lovely people, it's Wednesday and yeah, it's just been an average week, but I'm gonna start off with some personal thing that I've written in my journal today, as maybe some other people can relate. And yeah, I want to be honest on here and make this a space where people can feel comfortable, and so I'll read it to you. Why do I keep riding on this wave in which I either feel over the moon happy or underground? Today though, I feel good. My eyes don't hurt, and breathing in the cold air feels refreshing, and the sun sparkles and feels nice and warm. A day in which I can ramble on happily and laugh until my cheeks hurt. Yeah, this basically is just a reflection of my day, as I've had another kind of relapse into feeling horrible these past couple days, as I've noticed that when I don't get enough sleep, I tend to be more vulnerable with my emotions, and that can get pretty negative quickly. And so yeah, I'm reflecting on that, as well as it not being bad all the time. So that's already a good thing. And yeah, that's the update for today. So now comes the part where I can explain how I cope with those things, and talk about the sort of so-called dopamine menu, to eliminate the dopamine we get from social media. So what I do is, firstly and foremost, I just write. This is my main form of self-care, I guess, in a way, and self-reflection. But I also read novels, and I don't know if people are interested in that, but that's what this video is going to be about. And basically, I'm going to talk about the 2 books that I've read these past year, since it's only February, by the way, and also some of my other favorite books. So yeah. Okay, so it's actually a couple days further now, and now I've only decided to get into the book part because I didn't have time the other days, or it was just chaotic and too noisy. So I'm gonna be talking about some of the recent books I've read, but these aren't all recent, by the way, just so you know, because I read a lot of them on my Kindle, and some favorites in here, and some to recommend as well, and some that I've annotated since I love them so much. So starting off with the 2 books I've last read, the 2 physical books, because I've read some on Kindle. I'll start with this one, since everyone probably knows, since it's a recent release. And I love Sally Rooney, honestly, and I love Normal People. That's the book, that's the first book of hers that I've read, and I loved it, and I love the series too. It's such an accurate motion picture of this, of Normal People, and I loved the characters and the story. And once you read this, you'll have to figure out for yourself whether you like it, but I'd say if you like other works of Sally Rooney and some unusual, non-conventional love stories, then I think you'll like this one. And then with the next one, How to Be Both by Ali Smith. This was recommended by my English teacher, and it's basically a story where, okay, there's 2 different perspectives told in the story, like there's a part 1 and part 2, yet in every single copy of this, there's 2 different types of copies. There's one with one perspective first and the other after. And so it really creates like this unique reading experience, depending on which perspective you got to read first, and it's really about like arts, feminism, coming of age, and yeah, if that's your type of book, then I think you'll like this. So yeah, these were 2 recent reads. On my Kindle, I've recently read Hello Beautiful, and I'd also recommend that, as it is lovely, and I guess you can kind of see my reading taste with this, but it's kind of like, okay, here it comes, A Little Life, yet with a story between 2 sisters, and also actually not just 2 sisters, but all these sisters, and how their lives grow and change over the years, and how they encounter love and different and family issues, and I just loved it so much, so I'd really recommend that book as well. And now just for some of these. This one I think is very underrated, but we read this for IB English. This was our first literary work we read last year, and it's called Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and it's basically by this author from Nigeria, and she wrote this lovely novel about this girl called Camberly, and it's honestly a very devastating story. And honestly, if you know anything about my literature taste, it's that I like books that make you feel something deep inside, like A Little Life that I read when I was only 13. But yeah, anyways, this novel talks about domestic abuse, yet the Purple Hibiscus, the title, refers to this freedom she finds towards the end. And this is a coming of age novel, and I love coming of age, so if you like those kinds of novels, then I think you'd really love this. And it is filled to the brim with cool literary... Sorry, I ran out of storage again. But basically, there are lots of literary themes and concepts and motifs and metaphors and symbolism that you can find in this novel, and honestly in every novel. We talked about this for hours in English class, so yeah, that's just also the fact that I have these fond memories associated with this novel. It just makes it all the better. Anyways, on to the next novel. Another heartbreaking novel and a classic that I truly recommend if you ever want to start with classics is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I got this novel when I was 15 and I read this, and honestly, this was really heartbreaking, yet also something that you kind of need to read as you grow up, as the fig tree metaphor is so wonderful, and it's just... Sylvia Plath writes wonderful poems. I'm also a fan of poetry and want to really read her unabridged poems. I don't know what novel of poems, I don't know what it's called. Oops, but this is the one and only novel she's written, and it was really a masterpiece that I think everyone should read. And then moving on, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. And this book is a book by this author that isn't what he usually writes, as he usually has this very kind of weird and... Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't know good terms how to describe novels or writing styles, but I'll need to, get better on that for my IB oral coming up. But anyways, he writes really surrealistic books with weird elements inside, but this one doesn't have really any magical elements inside. And on trend with Japanese literature, I'd also recommend Heaven by Kawakami. yeah, I don't know how to pronounce Japanese names that well, but yeah, that's another devastating novel, as the Japanese really know how to make depressing novels, but also really cool ones. And last but not least, or maybe I'll recommend 2 more, because there's actually way more novels that I'd recommend, or authors, but I'd say I'd recommend John Green. And I have Paper Towns of his, but it's not his best work. But I'd say that you should read Looking for Alaska and Turtles All the Way Down, as they were truly incredible and life-changing as, a teen. And honestly, they're easy reads, so that's also lovely of his works, that you can really interpret very easily what he wants to say with his novels. And if not, you can watch the series of Looking for Alaska, and you can watch Turtles All the Way Down now as a movie, but the book is way better, by the way. And last but not least, I'd recommend all the novels by Matt Haig, the author of The Midnight Library, as I started with that one, but then I read The Humans, and he also has a new novel, like something about paradise, but I read that one too, and it's lovely, though I think I liked Humans the most. And there's also How to Stop Time. Yeah, there's so many novels of his that are just really great, and they're all young adults, so they're very easy to understand. And yeah, that's where I'll stop with this ramble. But I hope you enjoyed, and I don't know, I'd love to, know what your favorite novels are, or novels that you think I'd like, based on like all the novels that I've mentioned. But if you like books and are looking for an actual book channel, just follow my friend Noor Books, as she only talks about books and literature, and yeah, she's incredible. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I know it might be something different from what I usually film, but I don't know, let me know if you like it. But yeah, I thought it would just be a fun thing to share, and something a little different from what I usually post. Okay, bye!